But if you understand why you're doing something, well, now you have a mission, right? And now you have a passion. And now you're going to connect with people on a much deeper, visceral level. I must love that word, visceral. You're going to connect with people on a very deeper level. Now you're connecting with people almost on a religious level, on a spiritual level, because they know why you're doing it. Even if they don't understand consciously, maybe just subconscious. Probably a lot of people can't tell you why they can buy a new Apple phone year after year. But why they do it is because they identify with what Apple is doing. Hello, and welcome back to balancedact. My name is Juan. It's been a while. I was injured early August, unfortunately. Needed surgery done, actually. And while I'm still in the process of my recovery, I'm mostly recovered. So I took time off, obviously, to recover. But I'm back, and I'm well, thank God. So today I wanted to touch on a little bit about why we do things. So I had the pleasure of meeting a group of gentlemen at Sacred Space. Actually, I met them at an open mic that they ran. My girlfriend Angela actually initially met them. A couple of gentlemen, Chav, Golden, Sire, there's another cat named Mikey, and there's one cat in particular, Golden. He was running. I think he was the proprietor of the open mic, and it was really dope. But when he would get up in between, he's also the MC of the open mic. When he would get up in between acts and talk, he would lay down his philosophy a little bit and what his plans are for the Tampa Bay area. He moved in from another area, I think somewhere in California, and just moved to Tampa, fell in love with the city, fell in love with the area, and decided, he's going to plant roots here. And he also has decided that he wants to support artists around here, which I think is fantastic. It's always been a passion of my own. And then he was explaining that he also wanted to make sure that people can monetize off their dreams. So, if you're an artist, if you're a musician, a painter, whatever, you should be able to use those skills and use that passion of yours and monetize off of it. He also comes from a young man's perspective where, he thinks there's a certain window of doing so. And he wants to make sure people get to that window, allow themselves to monetize their passions within that short window they may have of being young, basically. Being young and not having a whole bunch of responsibilities. There's one girl went on stage, she sang, she was incredible singer. She was about 17 years old. And he went on stage and he said something that's a lot of people's realities and even been my own, where he said, what if she turns 30 and, she's got all these responsibilities and that dream may die. I want to make sure that doesn't happen. Why I don't necessarily agree with that idea, being a man who's a little bit older than 30 himself and is still very much pursuing his dreams, his passions. There is some truth to that too. I do work a full-time job as a graphic designer, but it's not necessarily what I'm passionate about. I do have children I'm responsible for, and having children in my early 20s definitely delayed a lot of things regarding my passion. But that's not what this video is about. What this video is about is I really got a sense of why he was doing what he was doing. Now, I may be wrong. I haven't really conversated with him about this yet. I actually have a conversation set up with him this evening. But to me, it seems why he's doing it is because he wants people to be able to experience their life in full. And they want to be able to experience their life with a sense of freedom. So if you're able to live out your dream, you're living fully. And there's less stress in your life, there's more enjoyment in your life. You're able to spread more love, and you're also be able to give more back to humanity. Because if you're living your purpose, you're going to help someone. Definitely going to help someone. And I really got a sense that that's why he's doing this. Like I said, I could be wrong, but I think he really wants to help people just be who they are so they can be happy, they can be well, not be controlled, and then also bring more into this world. And I love that. I absolutely love that. And it really got me thinking about, and I've talked about this quite a bit on this podcast, Simon Sinek and his book Starts With Why. And as I've been studying this book over the last several months, it really helped me understand myself, not only as a creator, but also as an entrepreneur. you really have to understand why you're doing things before you move on and start doing it, or else you may fall into this trap. So he has this cone, Simon Sinek. On the top of the cone is why, the middle is how, and the very bottom is what. And that's how he thinks you should approach business. Why am I doing this? How am I going to do it? And what is going to do it? So he loves using Apple as an example. So why does Apple do what they do? To challenge the status quo. How do they challenge the status quo? By giving people the freedom to express themselves how they want to express themselves. What is giving them that freedom? Their devices. So that's how he explains it. Now, so another company like Dell might do it the backwards way, and he said that most people do in business. What do? We make computers. Okay? How do those computers work? Well, a lot of people get online and, do spreadsheets and make music and maybe play some video games. They're really highly powerful. They got the latest technology in them. Why are you doing this? Make money? And that's how most people approach business. And that can never last. And then at that point, people might buy a computer because it's the dopest thing right there in that moment. Remember, dude, you got a Dell. Remember all that? And then maybe 5 years down the line, somebody else comes out with a way better computer, and people don't know why they should keep buying your computer, because your computer now is just apples and oranges. It's like, well, why should I buy a computer if this computer over here is way better than this Dell computer? And it's like, so now you got to try to get people to come back to buy your computer. Oh, look, if you buy our computer, you get this free monitor with it. If you buy our computer, we'll give you 30% free, 30% off the computer. We'll give you a year free of McAfee or whatever they're doing. They're trying to get you to come back in through manipulation and that kind of thing. And that's the only way you can keep business going. It's a very stressful way of running business. But if you understand why you're doing something, well, now you have a mission, right? And now you have a passion. And now you're going to connect with people on a much deeper, visceral level. I must love that word, visceral. You're going to connect with people on a very deeper level. Now you're connecting with people almost on a religious level, on a spiritual level, because they know why you're doing it. Even if they don't understand consciously, maybe just subconsciously. Probably a lot of people can't tell you why they buy a new Apple phone year after year. But why they do it is because they identify with what Apple is doing, okay? Which again is challenging the status quo. They identify with that. That's why a lot of artists buy Apple computers. That's why you have a lot of young people, they want the iPhone. It's all about challenging the status quo. So, if you can really tap into why you're doing something and then approach the world with that first, it doesn't even matter what your business is. Because your business can change so many times over. As long as people know why you're doing something, they'll follow you to the ends of the earth. Once again, with Apple. So Apple doesn't just make computers, right? They also make software. They also make phones, MP3 players, so to speak. And every time they entered a new market, so they enter MP3s or iPods, then the cell phone industry with the iPhone, they revolutionized it. They took the fuck over. You know why? Because people understood why they were doing what they was doing. They understood we are just here to challenge the status quo. So it doesn't matter what they're making. It doesn't matter what they're doing. It's Apple doing it, and people know why they're doing it. So when you have other companies, once again, go to Dell and say, or Microsoft even. Microsoft try to enter into the MP3 player market with the Zoom or whatever. It's a pretty dope device, right? It goes way more songs than the iPod could at the time. It had a little bit more functionality. Had all these bells and whistles on it. But a lot of people, it was a giant shit break made by Microsoft that nobody was interested in, because why should I buy MP3 player from Microsoft? It got Excel with it. Like, what am I doing? So a lot of people just didn't buy this technically more powerful, more state-of-the-art device than even what the iPod was at the time. I know, I used to sell Zells, Zooms, or whatever it was called, when I worked for GameStop. We had a deal with Microsoft to push this product. So, if people don't understand why you're doing something, they have very little reason to continue to follow you. So if you want real good evergreen success in what you're doing, understand why you're doing it. And so I love that example of Simon Sinek that he gives with Apple. I think Apple is a great example of that. I mean, they've been successful for years and years and years. Obviously, had a hiccup during the late '90s, mid to late '90s. That's when Steve Jobs wasn't there. So I highly recommend that book. Starts with Why. I know I talk about it a lot, but it's really been changed my perspective on not just business, but really life and communicating with other people. And I'm going to stop right about there, actually. I want to keep this first episode back a little bit on the shorter side. I like to keep my videos a little bit shorter so, you folks can get more out of it, too. And shout out to Golden, my friend, all my new friends I met at Sacred Space recently. Goes up to Sire, goes up to Mikey, everyone. Really appreciate you all. Chaff, met so many new people recently. Mikhail, oh my gosh, love Sacred Space. Yeah, if you're in the Tampa Bay area, definitely check them out. Look for the return of the Sacred Space podcast coming for Vital Intellect, probably next month. I'm in discussions now with Jason, the owner and proprietor of Sacred Space right now. Sacred Space of Tampa Bay, that is. All right, guys, so that's it for today. That's it for this week. I'm happy to be back. I love you all. And also, shout out to my whole community who's been supporting me and caring about me during this time period. I love you all. Genuinely, truly do. Also, my family members, my nephew Ronnie, Hibachi Cocktail Entertainment, my mom and my dad, of course, my beautiful girlfriend Angela, and my sons Juan and Julian. Thank you all very much during this hard time for me, though this last month. All is well, all is good. Vital Intellect's live in effect. Balancedact is live in effect. I'll be back next week. And may you find that balanced road between the metaphysical and the practical to your own well-being. God bless. Love you all.